Hey everybody, my name is Valerie Bott, and I wanted to show you this new HipHip Stomp foot pedal that I made for my friend Charlie Gabaldon. Now Charlie was looking for a foot pedal that would start and stop loops in Reaper, which is the DAW he uses. And so it took me a little bit to figure out, because this is not like any normal pedal that I've ever built before. It's not an analog pedal. It's using an Arduino microcontroller chip in order to send a signal, a MIDI signal over USB to your computer. So here is what the pedal looks like. I've put it into this nice poplar wooden box that I built and I stained. And then I've got a copper plate that I put on top, and I etched the copper plate with some acid, ferric chloride, and then darkened it with liver of sulfur and, you know, aged it a bit so it looks kind of leathery and old. And it's got this one switch which will change the button red or green. I can't push this switch right now because it'll actually affect OBS, which I learned on a just previous recording of this. So I'll show you once I got Reaper open how it works. But it is just simply going through, this is a USB-C out. I have this going into USB cord and into my computer. And it's just got the one switch and the two LEDs and the microcontroller inside and 3 resistors. That's it. So let me just show you a little bit how it works. I'm getting to another screen here. Okay, so let me first show you not this, but this. So here's some pictures that I have of the thing I'm just holding and showing you already. But I'm just so happy how it came out. So you can see the top there where the USB-C goes into it. And this is the inside of it. So it's just the switch and the 2 LEDs. I've got this taped down to a piece of wood that's glued in, and I've got some foam protecting it so when it turns around. So you can kind of see the microcontroller there, but here it is close up. So it's a Pro Micro Arduino chip. And I just got this off Amazon. And I programmed it in IDE, which is like an Arduino coding program. And I kind of hobbled together some different code together to make this work. And I'll show you how that works. But basically, I just have what did I do? Okay, so I did the switch. I have the switch connected to this number 3 here you see in the front. And then I have the 2 LEDs connected to 8 and 10 on the other side, and then I have them all connected to ground, and then I uploaded the program, literally that. And so there are resistors connecting each thing to the board, just to be safe. So let me now show you. This is the Arduino code. So I have a big comment section where I talked about like how I built it and what the basics are, because I'm gonna forget if I ever see this again. So it has how I built it, what resistors I used, and what extra things I used. So basically this is built off this MIDI USB library, and it is the thing that controls sending the MIDI signal over USB. And so you don't have to have like a you don't have to have a MIDI input box. It just runs over USB. And then it also has this HID project library, which helps the computer see the box as a keyboard. So that makes it work really seamlessly. So this just says like where I have, you know, what I have plugged in where, and then the variables I'm using. And then it just shows that the LEDs are outputs and the switch is an input. And that at the very beginning, the digital write is so that the green LED is off and the red LED is on to start. So once you plug it in, the red LED just shows up. And then it initializes it as a keyboard, and it has a small amount of debounce so that like you can't hit it too fast and like turn on and off. And then so it's just like it's an if-else kind of statement. You know, if it's stopped, then when you hit the button it'll play, and if it's playing, then if you hit the button it will stop. And it shows that, so it sends a MIDI signal. It sends a capital S if you want to start it, and a capital P if you want to stop it, which kind of sounds backwards, but That's just what it, that's just how it was, and I didn't change it. And then it changes the LED in response to that too. It also, I also put this MIDI device name program in. And so when I uploaded it, so when you upload it, or when you open it in a program, it's called the HipHip Stomp controller. So that part really jazzed me. So how this works is if you are in Reaper or pretty much any digital audio workstation you got, any DAW. Let's see if I can open this. In the settings, I don't think, can you see the settings? You can't see the settings. So all it works is that in the Reaper settings, you go to audio and MIDI devices, and the HipHip Stomp will show up, and you just say, you just right click on it and say enable input for all tracks. Then you go to the action menu, and you just make sure that the action is starting and stopping, and you choose, and in that you can actually change it. So if you know, there's like a whole list of MIDI signals, so it could be other things other than start and play, but in Reaper, so you can change that a little bit. But basically, when you have Reaper open and you have your little switch and you push your button, and then when you click the button, it stops. And when you click the button, it goes all the way back to the beginning again. And that is something else that you can change. You can make it just pause versus stop. But I've got it on stop so that when you start again, it starts at the beginning. So you can just loop that over and over again. Now this works for like a WAV file or an MP3 file or a MIDI loop. And so you can just have a bunch of different tabs open in your DAW, and then you can just change to like, okay, now I want this beat. And then stop it. And then you're like, oh, hold on, let me start over. So I've got one more example. So it's just, and then you go to the third example, and again, and you see the green light lights up when you're starting, and then stop. So if you have this on a loop, it will just run forever and until you push the stop button. And it's I'm jazzed how it turned out. The next one I want to make will also probably have a tap tempo button, so specifically for MIDI files, so that you could just have like a kick drum loop or something and change the tempo with your foot to be, you know, faster or slower. And so that will be on a future one that is also wider to have, you know, more than one switch. So this is a good, because it's like the size of your foot, and it's got it a slight angle so that it's nice to stomp on. It has, you can remove the back. It's just got some screws in here, so this is removable, but there's nothing in, there's no battery, there's nothing inside that you really need to mess with. So it's kind of a, even if I wanted to reprogram it, I would just reprogram it from this cord here, and I just plug this into my computer, re-upload a new program, and you know, you can change it. Because some things, and another improvement that could be made is it will recognize a long press. So, you know, say there's something you wanted to do and have an action that would, you know, a third action besides stop and start. You could have a long press where if you held it for 3 seconds, it would fade out or something like that. So that's something that could be an addition that can be made without doing anything except for re-uploading the program into the microcontroller. So how cool is that, y'all? I'm pretty jazzed how it turned out. And I just want to thank Charlie Gabaldon for, you know, asking for this idea, because it's not something I'd really thought about before, and I'd never programmed in Arduino before. So it was really cool to get to know like how the layout of it, how it works, how to just do the simple things. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to making more things with Arduino microcontrollers, especially for MIDI. And then also, I'm kind of been experimenting to see what kind of like actual guitar effect I could make if I did it like a more of a regular box where it's plugged into your guitar cord and out to your amp. You know, what kind of crazy weirdness could be made by that. I'm not sure actually. But hopefully we'll see soon, and I'll let you know what I come up with. But thanks so much, Charlie, and I hope that it works for you and that you have a good hip hip stomp. All right, see y'all later.